Hey you guys, there's my buddy Gary right there. If you're watching this video to see step by step how to replace the main oil seal, just stop. Move on to another video. This video is just to show you what we went through in the probably, I don't know, 16, 17 hours that it took us to do this, and problems that we ran into. It's whatever. So anyways, I encourage you to take and watch, like 3 or 4 other videos. Like we're changing in the rear main seal in GMC Yukon, what do you call it, Vortex 8-cylinder. I think it's like a 5.3, something like that. Anyways, it's big. But anyways, our buddy Roy, he's going through like a quart of oil every week. It's mostly ending up, blowing back there on the exhaust, or ending up down there in on the cardboard that he keeps in his garage. So, we had to help him out. But anyways, by watching everybody else, is like the first time we ever worked on GMC. Go through the basics, and that's where you're going to get the bulk of your information, not off of this video. Pre-sprayed all the nuts and bolts and stuff, for exhaust. I had a little bit of rust on them, not looking for any trouble, so we did a little bit of like preemptive strike there, make sure that we're not going to have a problem. But of course, Murphy's Law of Strikes, you'll see here in a little bit, we did. We broke a bolt. So we already got the drive shaft out. We marked everything, where the drive shaft's going to go back on the yoke. I don't want any out of balance or whatever problems. So it's important that you do that. You'll see that in other guys' videos and stuff. But later on, by the time I get to the 3rd clip of this, you're going to see some of the problems that we ran into because somebody else had worked on this. Missing bolts. Super glue, not that really should be in automotive, but anyways, it doesn't get into the picture here. So anyways, I had originally started off like I was gonna just take in go step by step and how to do it, because a lot of the guys don't show the problems that we ran into. They don't show you undoing electrical, cannon plugs, and removing transmission lines, and all the crap that you go through, with when you're doing that, and how you can help yourself. So anyways, yeah, that rag was up there, thinking that, because it was just barely dripping. Of course, the transmission is sitting on, it's got that cross member there, the support is holding up the transmission. The drive shaft is out and it's barely dripping. So like, we're just going to take and put a rag on there. Well, you know what? Put a bucket under there, because like as soon as you get that cross beam out of there, that thing's going to run out of there like that tranny fluid's going to run out like a stuck pig. Next clip is coming up. So this is the 2nd clip, still had the intention of doing a step-by-step of, taking everything off. I moved the starter out of the way so I can access the 3 15mm bolts through the starter hole there on the flex plate, and that did not work out. So you do need to take and remove the starter, save yourself some time and energy in the beginning. So down here right now, I'm just hanging the exhaust by 1 bolt right now. Everything else is all disconnected, but we went to take and pull all the disconnect cannon plugs there, and 3 out of the 4 were a piece of cake. But the one on the passenger side there, right before the cat, you can't, I couldn't on this one, this particular Yukon, we could not get that access to unplug it. So I just took and pulled the O2 sensor out and tried to make, didn't want to spend any more time than I had to on it. You can see like they're all wet because I sprayed them with WD-40 to get them out. And there's Murphy's Law, everybody. Say hi to Murphy's Law. That's a broken stud when we went to take it off the flange there right before it hit the muffler. So yeah, no job is complete without another hiccup. So Yeah, I just heated that up with some MAP gas and then hit it with a sledge, and 2 taps and it was out. And so we just replaced it with a new bolt nut washer and all that fun stuff. Cross beam, all the bolts and everything are, you know, they're all the nuts are off. We're getting ready to take and pick it up. But like I said, put a catch pan underneath the transmission, because once that it's below the level that cross brace holds it at, it's going to just come running out of the back of that transmission. So either drain it ahead of time or have a catch pan, because we probably lost about 2 quarts out of there. And of course, you never see it right off the bat. It just goes everywhere. So this video right here, or this clip, this is when I realized there was no way that I was going to be able to go through step by step by step. So like basically I was just like starting from the very beginning, showing you what we're working on. It's GMC Yukon. So at this point I'm just going through and I'm showing you, like, here's the headaches that we ran into. And probably it did add, I'm going to say, a good, I don't know, 4 hours to the job. Because like if you haven't done it before, there's always that uncertainty and stuff. Getting the bell housing off, you know, it's separated from the bottom but not at the top. There was hidden bolts at the top, and of course they're so difficult to see. If you can't eyeball them, you know what it's like, guys. You got to stick your hand up in there and you're feeling it. Well, the first nut that's on this extended bolt that goes into the engine that holds the bell housing, there's a 14 millimeter nut on the back side. You're going to see this here in a second when I show you like what I had to go through. This bolt is like, it's so hidden, it was like a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. It's hidden up back there behind a hose and blah blah blah. See how where the hose is curving off to the left and everything. It was crazy, but that was the one bolt that was keeping that thing from coming apart. So like you never give up, you never give in. Good guys always win. So it just takes time. So finally got that. You got to do the 14 millimeter nut first, get that off, then get the bracket that's holding that hose in front of the hole, and then you got to go back in there and, like, seriously, you're using like 3.5 feet of extensions with a universal joint and a deep socket, because see how long the thread is over there on the left hand side. Then there's a bracket in between there, and that's like where I'm tapping right now. That's where the 14 millimeter nut is. Then there's the bracket. You got to get that out of there, and then to actually get that bolt out that's holding the bell housing, which is the 15 millimeter, you do the math. It all adds up to a big pain in the ass. But once you get that thing broken loose, all I did is, like, I could not, the socket wasn't cooperating. I'm getting aggravated. You're spending too much time on one little tiny dick job and it's making you mad. So I just, like, I stuck my arm all the way up in there. I was looking to get the reach on it. I had to look out towards the back of the vehicle and just do it by feel. And I just took it out with 2 fingers, and that was problem solved. It was a big, it was a milestone, trust me, getting that one hard to find bolt out of there. Here's another situation that you're going to run into. Getting those little clips out of there, there's nothing to them, there really isn't, but getting those clips out of there for the transmission cooling lines that run up to the radiator, the other end runs up to the radiator, that's where you should go and practice. Take that clip out of there, put it back in, and then just push the line in and it'll lock into place. That's what you need to do on this transmission. Once you got it down on the ground, before you jack it back up into place, you've replaced the oil seal and main seal and all that, there's no way you're going to do it once it's back into place. You'll have to lower it down, and you are going to be madder than a wet hen or a bunch of hornets. So then we get over here to where the safety cutout switch is. Like when we were, you know, in order to take and lower down the transmission, you got to undo the cannon plugs that are right there on the side of the safety cutout switch. You're going to see it over here. This is the old one that was, oh no, I'm going over here to the exhaust. I'm just showing you like 3 out of the 4 plugs, the cannon plugs, we got those no problem. The other one you could not access. So when you go to put it back in, here's a little heads up. Taking, like when you're looking at the O2 sensor, pre-wind it clockwise about, I don't know, 6 or 7 turns, because then when you go to put it in that hole right there, which is before the cat, that way, like when you tighten it up, the wires aren't going to be all twisted. So here we are now. That's the safety cutout switch on the transmission. That just, you know, it does a lot of things. It tells you, like, you know, when the backup lights come on and all that stuff, when you're in reverse, it, you know, a lot of electronics and stuff. So some lucky loser that probably got paid good money had screwed up the locks, like once you put them into place. So that shininess down there in the bottom, that's super glue. And we got one out. The other one, it just broke the cutout switch. Cutout switch was 33 bucks. That was nothing that we did. So that was on the owner to replace that. Sorry. There was the seal. The reason why I'm doing the voiceover is because at this point I am swearing like a sailor. Like I'm so GD mad about it, and effing this and effing that, and it's like I couldn't put it up. I just could not put that video up. So had to go and get the what do you call it, the females, and rewire everything that was down underneath the vehicle for that. And of course those are the new ones, came all solid white, and the ones underneath are color coded. So now you got to do them one at a time. You got to cut, you got to splice, you got to, you know, heat shrink, blah, 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 and just go on one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And there's 10 of them. So like that's adding, you know, a little bit more time. Then you got to take and bale them, bond them, you know, get them up and out of the way for when everything goes back in. For sure, use a wire brush. That's the seal. We don't care. See, I'm mad. I'm just throwing shit or stuff. Sorry. We used Felpro because that had a lot of good reviews. It did work out real well. Replaced the gasket and everything. You never even actually see us replacing the actual oil seal because frustration, nothing more than that. This takes a long time. This was like 16, 17 hours spread out over 2.5 days. Of course, there's lunch and burritos and all that fun stuff. Shout out to Joe, Gary's son. He came in and he helped out a little bit with some stuff. Probably kept me from zapping myself on the starter. So thank you, Joe. Yeah, guys, it takes a lot. It takes a long time. It's $1,000 worth of long time. So it's up to you whether you want to tackle this, or if it's, you know, above your pay grade, above your skill level, or, I mean, you got to have that. That's actually like a motorcycle lift. We used it for a transmission jack, and you're going to run into problems. This was like an 06 or something like that. So it's like, what, 12 years old, and a lot of crap going on under there. So yeah, you can save yourself a lot of money, and, you know, but it takes time. Watch other videos and you'll get through it. It'll work. Thanks for watching. There's my buddy Kent, and I'm on the right, betting on the Preakness.